Let's talk about the directed voiceover session.
You're a voice actor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a VOPreneur. Welcome to the Everyday VOpreneur podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover.
Having your voiceover demos easily playable and downloadable on your website is essential. The VoiceZam player lets you do that across any device and browser. There are also options for adding play buttons in your email signature, tracking your listens, and even putting videos in your demo player. Sign up now at voicezam.com/Marc Scott and receive an instant $25 credit. For full details and to claim this offer, visit voicezam.com/Marc Scott.
The VOPRENEUR podcast. Hey, it doesn't suck.
Not as funny as Conan. Not as cute as Seth Meyers. Not as smart as Colbert. But he's one of us, and that counts for something. Here's Marc Scott, the original Everyday VOpreneur.
Hello and welcome to the Everyday VOpreneur podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover. I'm Marc Scott, the original Everyday VOpreneur, ready to give you some more actionable, practical advice that you can use for your voiceover business in this summer series episode. What's the summer series all about? Quick hit episodes. Just one thing I want to give you. Get in, get out, get back to your vacation, back to the beach, back to the pool, or back to the studio, as it were. But that's what the summer series is all about. Now, just before we get there, if you're enjoying the summer series episodes, would you let me know? Take a picture, show me where you're listening, post it on Instagram in your stories, and tag me at Marc Scott. So I want to talk to you today about the directed session. Now, I will be the first to admit that this is something that I don't do a ton of. A lot of the type of voiceover work that I do, it's just not required. But I can also say that I have done more directed sessions since 2020 than I ever did prior to 2020. And so because it's become something that has been a little bit more common in my business, it's something that I've had to give a little bit more thought to. And I think that particularly for newer voice actors, the directed session is a source of a lot of anxiety. And I don't think it needs to be that way. Go into a Facebook group on any given day, and I guarantee you are going to find a post from somebody who's looking to do a Source Connect test. Why? Because they have another directed session coming up. And even though they did a Source Connect test before their last directed session, and before the directed session before that, and before the directed session before that, and so on and so on and so on, they're still wanting to do another one. And a lot of this, I think, comes from anxiety around the directed session. And it just doesn't have to be that way. So based on my experience doing directed sessions, I want to share a couple of things that I've picked up along the way. And hopefully they are going to help you to reduce your stress level, reduce your anxiety level, and to just enjoy the directed session. Because quite honestly, it's a really great way to do things when the opportunity presents itself. Having the client listen in means that you're probably not going to have to come back and revisit this project later, unless they make some sort of script change. But you know that you're going to say everything right. You know you're getting all the pronunciations. You know you're giving them the tone that they want because they're there. They're directing you. They're making sure that they get exactly what they're looking for. So I've got a couple of different points that I want to raise. And the first one is that you simply have to relax. If you go in there tense, if you go in there anxious, if you go in there stressed, it's going to come through in your read. And it's not going to go well in the session. So before you even head in there, take a minute to pray, take a minute to meditate, take a minute to do the breathing thing that you can do on your Apple Watch, whatever it is, just something to just kind of chill yourself out a little bit so that you can be completely relaxed when you go in there. And why do you want to be relaxed? Because of point number 2, nobody's expecting perfection. And I think that's one of the misconceptions. I think we assume that when we go into the booth to do a directed session, we are expected to get it on one take. And that is absolutely not the expectation. Because here's the thing, the client, 9 out of 10 times, they're trying to figure out exactly what they want. And that's one of the reasons why they want a directed session. So they can hear how it sounds when you do it this way, but then they can compare that to how it sounds when you do it that way. And then they can kind of figure out where they want the read to actually land. So there is no expectation of being perfect. So take that out of your mind right now. You go in there and do you. Remember, they chose you. They hired you. They are paying you. They want you. So you've already got the job. Just relax. Now, we're relaxed. We understand that no one is expecting perfection. That brings me to the third thing on the list, which is keep the session moving. If you stumble, start again. That's it. Don't swear. Don't complain. Don't say, gosh darn it. Don't throw something. Don't get upset. Don't be embarrassed. Don't apologize. Just stop, pick up, stop, pick up. That's it. That's all you got to do. Again, they're not expecting you to be perfect. It's okay if you mess up. Messing up does not make you look like you lack professionalism. How you handle a mess up is what is going to determine your level of professionalism. Just stop, pick up again, keep moving, keep the session moving. Now, with that being said, you also need to be patient and accommodating. We've all been in one of those directed sessions where there's 5 or 6 people listening on the line, and every single one of those people has an opinion. Every single one of those people has a reason to be in that room, whether there's somebody in creative, somebody in marketing, somebody in production, they're the copywriter, maybe it's the end-to-end client. Everybody's got a reason to be there. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to want to hear something different. And when they start asking for different things, I want you to just give it to them. Be patient and accommodating. Don't assume that because they're asking you to do it this way, no, can you do it that way? No, we want to hear it like this. No, can you actually do it like this? That is not a statement on you and your ability. That is not their way of saying you suck, which I know some of you get that in your head, that you think that every time the client asks you to do it a different way, it's because you're not giving them what they're looking for. Sometimes they're just trying to figure out what they're looking for, and that's it. So you just have to be patient, accommodating, give them whatever they want. If they ask you to read it 17 different ways, then read it 17 different ways. You're getting paid for the session, aren't you? So don't sweat it. Just give them what they're looking for. Another big one that we all have to do, let your family know that you're going in on a directed session. I mean, one of the reasons why we're doing these directed sessions more and more and more is because we're recording from home more and more and more. And so whereas some of these bigger sessions that require a directed session used to happen perhaps in an offsite studio, now that we're doing it at home because we've all got Source Connect or ipDTL or Zoom or Skype or whatever it is that you're using, we're doing these sessions from home, which means there's a greater risk, especially now in the summertime, that one of your kids is going to come busting into the studio in the middle of your session. So make sure that you let your family know you're in a session. Put a sign up on the door, ask them to be quiet, send them out for ice cream, whatever it is, but you don't want that disruption because that can impact your professionalism in the eyes of the client. And then finally, for the love of cheese, do not bring your phone in the booth. Like seriously, it does not need to be in the booth with you. For the next 30 minutes, you are going to survive without your phone. Make sure that the notifications are silenced on any devices. You got your Apple Watch, put it in Do Not Disturb mode. If you're working on your computer, make sure that notifications are turned off. The last thing you want to do is be in the middle of a perfect take while the client is listening and then have that dreaded ding sound because somebody just sent you an email or a text or a Facebook notification. All of these things are simple things that are going to help to reduce your anxiety, reduce your stress, and make sure that you have a great directed session. These should be easy. They should be fun. They shouldn't be stressful. So relax. Remember, they hired you. They chose you. There's a reason why you are on the line with them right now because they know that you can deliver the goods. They're not expecting you to do it in one take. So when you figure that out, when you accept that, I know it's going to make directed sessions so much less stressful and so much more fun for you. Thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for hanging out. Want more VOpreneur goodness? Jump online at VOPRENEUR.com.